So meanwhile, as it pertains to Democrats and the call for President Biden to get out of the race, it's been widely reported that Nancy Pelosi told President Biden polls show he can't win. Well, we just got this statement from a spokesperson for Nancy Pelosi. Here it is. Speaker Pelosi respects the confidentiality of her meetings and conversations with the President of the United States. Sadly, the feeding frenzy from the press based on anonymous sources misrepresents any conversation the Speaker may have had with the President. So let's bring in CBS News senior White House and political correspondent Ed O'Keefe live in Milwaukee. May have had. That language seems careful. What's your take?
It always is with someone like her, and that's a reason why we have to so carefully parse all of these written statements that come in the wake of reports. There were some last night regarding Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer and the President. There was reporting about the House Speaker. There's fresh reporting on the former President Barack Obama. But here's the thing. All of this occurred in the last week. It's not like they got phone calls into the President last night or today, as far as we can tell so far. And in essence, and this is going to sound a little procedural, what it sounds like is going on here is we've cleared the assassination attempt hurdle and days of coverage. And it's almost as if people are now going back and realizing that the conversations about the president and his political future never really stopped because of the assassination. They just kind of simmered down.
Right.
And now they're turning the heat back up. And so when you see these kind of selective leaks start to happen, it's the various power centers of the party trying to flush out the president and say, maybe you didn't hear me last week, but here, let me reiterate it again, potentially. Think about this when you're on an already previously scheduled trip to Rehoboth this weekend, getting over COVID and taking some time to relax. Consider the numbers, consider the state of the race, consider whatever happens here in Milwaukee tonight with President Trump.
If the walls of that home in Delaware could talk, there would likely be a lot to say about what happens this weekend. You know, so far, the president's saying he's in it to win it. He's digging in his heels. He is not getting out. But, you know, anybody can go online, and there are many sources reporting that this is going to be a consequential weekend for Joe Biden. Do you feel that after this weekend, he could pull out of the race? And if so, what could happen then? Is it most likely that Kamala Harris will step in to take his place? And that underline highlighted, that is a big if. But is that what you would anticipate?
No, because I'm not in the business of feeling and anticipating. I think this much we know. His team says they're moving ahead, and the only indicator we'll get that he's not in it anymore is when or if he makes such a decision. This is not someone who responds well to public pressure. It does not respond well to this kind of political reporting that's out there. Cannot stand the speculation. It finds it absurd, as do his closest advisors, that this COVID diagnosis yesterday would be just the latest reason for him to get out. If anything, they see it as him being responsible, taking himself off the public stage and taking a few days to recover, as doctors recommend, and then going about the business next week. And let me reiterate, he had to postpone appearing at that event in Las Vegas, but otherwise was scheduled to go to Rehoboth Beach this weekend. So it's not like this was some emergency or hastily arranged visit to his beach home. This was always the plan anyway. And, you know, last weekend we were saying, or in advance of last weekend, everyone was saying this was the most consequential weekend of his political career. Well, it might have been up until about 6:15 Eastern on Saturday night, when the former president nearly died on stage at a campaign rally and the political calculus changed. And that's another element of what's going on here, is it's hard with all of these incredible fast-moving developments in the last several weeks, coming one after another, to really gauge whether the needle is moving. And by all accounts, the former president is winning, or is leading, in the head-to-head in the battleground states and nationally. But the Biden team would point out, those numbers are still single digits, still margin of error if you're looking closely at the polling, which means it's still essentially a 50-50 race, and there's still 3 months to go. And their argument is that's a lot of time. Most of the country isn't paying attention yet. They're still on vacation. They're getting ready only remotely to start thinking about sending the kids back to school. and then the fall will come, and they believe people will engage. The problem is, this weekend into next week, the Democrats were supposed to start laying the groundwork for the Chicago convention. And there were a handful of people who said maybe we should slow that roll and take it all up in Chicago in a few weeks instead. Biden campaign saying no. There was a primary. There was a calendar set. If you had issues, you should have engaged in the primary. And if you still have issues, you can try issuing some kind of motion in Chicago and go from there.
Right. Biden said, run against me. Ed O'Keefe, thank you so much, live from the Republican National Convention. We appreciate it.